Okay, yeah, I'm here to make a video on mass incarceration in the United States. Mass incarceration is taking over a larger population in the United States, with over 12 million people passing through jail annually, while another 700,000 are released each year. About 40% of the people released return to jail within 3 years. 76% of the state prison population has a previous criminal history of previous convictions. 59% of recidivists have more than two previous convictions, and 43% have more than three convictions. The data shows far more blacks than whites. Although the rate of incarceration for women has grown rapidly in the data between 2000 and 2010, majority of the inmates are still men, amounting to about 90%. The data in the 90s shows that 67% of the state prison population are male, black, Hispanic, or other non-white, and that 86.8% of age people between the age of 18 and 44. In other words, young minority males. Moreover, the data also shows that this population is relatively illiterate compared with the US population as a whole, with 40% functionally illiteracy rate compared to 21% among the population as a whole. More black men have served term in prison than graduated from a college. Statistics shows that 1 in 87 whites are in jail, compared to African American having 1 in 12 in jail. Mass incarceration is taking the lives of our youth. Having a large number of people removed from the community will have a devastating effect on the society. The underlying issues surrounding mass incarceration should be addressed, as well as we need to quantify if the crime measures the sentence and to ponder on the implication of this mass incarceration on the citizen and the populace. Psychoanalytic theorists believe that criminal behavior is the result of a mental disturbance. From Freudi's perspective, this may have been caused by a conflict between the I, the ego, and the superego, or it may be the result of an improper fixation during the stage of emotional development.
What did you put on a black?
Deviance starts from growing up. A child that has no good home, has not been to a good school, and believes is marginalized and disadvantaged has a tendency to go into crime. Having a good family system lowers the probability of a person becoming involved in crime. The proverb says, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. A man that has a means of livelihood will not think of spending his entire life in prison. We can reduce the number of people going to jail by creating a more just society. Punishment has to feed a crime. Therefore, sentencing someone to long years imprisonment for a non-violent offense is too harsh. Spending time in prison makes the already marginalized people to be more marginalized. Thereby, they go back to their neighborhood, which is already distressed, with low level of education and high level of joblessness. They no longer have access to government support, no student loan, no job. One way or the other, they are cut off from the community, leading to depression and high rate of murder. And negative style of parenting to their kids. They add to the troubles of the residents and their families. It is more logical we send these people to rehabilitation rather than having to spend $80 billion a year to maintain citizens incarcerated. Legislation also imposed a federal three-strike and increased the size of the prison by offering $8 billion in grants for new prison construction rather than building good schools and getting jobs. Most psychologists define punishment as process of presenting a consequence delivered after a behavior which serves to reduce the frequency or intensity with which the behavior occurs. The punishment can either be by providing an undesirable stimulus or removing desirable stimulus. In either case, the idea is the punishment decreases the probability of a behavior occurring again. However, punishment, especially in its severe form, has several negative effects. An optimization of a low to moderate punishment combined with a moderate to high certainty of operation seems to be the most effective combination. The research over the past 10 years has consistently demonstrated the most effective way to reduce offending and particularly reoffending, is through education, particularly literacy training and GED. The Florida study also found that academic program impacts are found even among offenders, groups that normally have higher recidivism. For example, younger males, black, who had a GED, while incarcerated, return to custody at a rate of 40% compared to 54% of inmates under 21 released with no degree. However, inmates with at least 2-year college shows the overall recidivism rate for degree holders in the Texas Department of Correction. However, inmates with at least 2 years college education have a 10% rearrest rate compared to the national rearrest rate of 62%. A Texas study shows the overall recidivism rate for degree holders in the Texas Department of Corrections between 1990 to 1991 was 15%, compared to 60% for the national rate, and a 2-year follow-up study showed that those with associate degree had a recidivism rate of 13.7%, those with a bachelor's degree 5.3%, and those with a master's degree 0%. We need to consider certain the use of punishment for non-violent offenses. Incapacitating the most seriously harmful offenders is a different argument. We should draw on the research of what we know works to prevent recidivism, especially literacy programs, skills training, and GED, as well as educating prisoners to associate degree levels in higher education and restore financial support for these successful practices. In addition, we should invest the money spent on incarceration on ensuring that the illiteracy rate among the nation's population is reduced dramatically. Doing so will ensure that our general population is equipped to make the kind of rational decisions that will enable us to make better choices in the first place. Finally, we should abandon the discourse of punishment as our response to unwanted behavior. I wouldn't go on without appreciating my sources. My sources were Crutchfield, Robert D., and Gregory A. Weeks, The Effect of Mass Incarceration on Communities of Colors. Other sources are Dixon Team, Erode Crime, Politics, and Justice, Rolling Stone. Dumont Dura et al., Incarceration, Maternal Hardship, and Perinatal Health Behaviors. And the last but not the least, Stuart Henry, Defining Punishment and How It Works on the Effectiveness of Prison as Punishment. Thank you.